Ather is, of course, a two-wheeler electric vehicle startup which has HeroMoto Corp, the world's largest two-wheeler maker, at its cap table. It's functioning autonomously and is back with a whole bunch of new bikes. Here's a conversation I had earlier with the co-founder, Tarun Mehta. Ather Energy, one of the leading EV startups that we have in the country for its two-wheelers, counting the world's largest manufacturer of two-wheelers, HeroMoto, at its cap table, is back with the new product, the new slew of products. I'm going to be talking about that and more with the co-founder and CEO, Tarun Mehta, who's here with us on Startup Central. Welcome back to ET now, Tarun. I believe Ather is back with more bikes. How many? What are they? And what are the prices?
Hey, so it's the same two models, but now with a lot of upgrades packed in. Over the years, there were two things that kept popping up for us. One was people either kind of become synonymous with better quality, more consistency, right? Especially in the current climate with what's happening with electric vehicles. So we wanted to improve on that parameter significantly. So our new launch, it's called Gen 3, Generation 3 of the 450 platform, improves overall product reliability, consistency considerably across all parameters. You can ride longer in hotter temperatures. You can maintain your performance with higher loads, multiple people. It just won't stop. But the other big thing that we're launching today is more range. The biggest feedback that we received over the last 1 year was that people love the 450, but they kind of miss the fact that it does not have 100-kilometer true range. So we're fixing that. With Gen 3, we have 146 kilometers of certified range and 105 kilometers of true range in all city conditions. Those are that was literally the number one feedback that we had over the last 12 months. So we wanted to get that out of the way. And with them, I think what we have now is easily the most complete scooter in the market.
And pricing?
We're maintaining roughly the same price. There's a small delta on account of a few changes. We used to have our chargers deeply discounted in the past. We're just sort of catching up on that, making sure they're more appropriately priced with where the market is. But broadly, the prices are almost the same. There's a few thousand rupees difference here and there.
Okay, but for all of our viewers who may not be familiar with the pricing, do you want to take them through it?
So 450 Plus is available at roughly about 1,30,000, 1,32,000 rupees, sorry. And 450X is available at roughly about 1,55,000 showroom in most cities. In places with state subsidies, there's an additional discount. So for example, in Ahmedabad, the price is as low as I think about 1,35,000, 1,36,000 for the X and 1,15,000 for the Plus. This is all inclusive ex-showroom, inclusive of upgrades, inclusive of chargers, everything.
Okay. Now, Tarun, I hope you will be candid over here. Now, you can blame the media, whatever it is. But what we've seen the last couple of months as well is, incidents which don't augur well for the makers of these two-wheelers or for the consumers. I'm talking about safety. Safety has to always be paramount. Ather itself had to suffer a fire incident in Chennai. How safe are these bikes? I'm not trying to say that you're rushing a product to the road and you've not done your safety checks, but this is a question you're going to have to answer.
Yeah, and actually, Ather is the only one that shouldn't have to worry about answering this. We've never had a fire in operation ever, right? The incident in Chennai was somebody literally crashed a vehicle, replaced screws, and broke the battery pack, and then we poured water on it accidentally. That was literally the scenario, right? Otherwise, we've never had a fire. We're very proud of it. We conduct the highest amount of testing in the entire Indian industry by far on battery packs and vehicles, almost 120, 140 tests at a battery pack level and about 800 plus tests at the vehicle level. We have the highest amount of data in Indian road conditions, 200 plus million kilometers of data, and 7 years of testing, right? With 4.5 years of actual on-road operations. We never rush towards launches, right? We do not believe in move fast and break things. Typically, every product cycle of ours, every launch cycle of ours takes about 15 to 18 months, right? So we don't like to rush to it. And Ather has the highest amount of money capital invested towards R&D for electric vehicles in India. Right? A team of almost 400 people in R&D now, and almost 1,500 crores, almost 1,500 crores now invested in product development and R&D over the last 6-7 years. Right? So the longest cycle, the highest amount of testing, and the largest capital commitment, and the highest IP also. Right? Battery packs. Actually, the entire story for us with this new launch has been about better quality. So what we're talking about in the launch is that you don't want to just meet a spec and then kind of come down, right? A lot of people are launching vehicles today where, for example, you will hit a top speed, but then after 2 minutes of driving, you will stall, right? You will start going over a mountain slope, but after 2-3 minutes of driving, your motor will heat up, your battery will heat up, and you'll have other problems. We believe for electric vehicles to go mainstream, you have to hit levels of reliability like petrol scooters. Right? You have to be able to carry 2-3 people over flat roads, mountain roads at 25-degree ambient and 45-50 degrees ambient, right? With the exact same performance. You cannot stop riding, right? And that's what you're trying to nail down. The 450 platform is amazing for it. And with Gen 3, we're just perfecting that incredibly. A bigger battery means we've got far better thermals. We are the only ones with like a proper aluminum case, proper cooling of the battery pack. So I think Gen 3 kind of perfects the story of high consistency and high reliability.
Okay, so you are convinced that these bikes are indeed very, very safe. Now, Tarun, we're talking at such an interesting time where the expectation at least is that you're going to have very rigorous competition from the legacy players. HeroMoto Corp, which is anyway at your cap table, is getting ready for its own bike launches. You've always maintained that Ather will run independently. But now, all the traditional OEMs, from a Mahindra to a Tata Motors to a Bajaj Auto, all have grand plans when it comes to EVs. Are you up for the challenge, and how?
In this market, actually, as a legacy player, it's a cost to pay to be a legacy player in this market, right? It's less advantages and more challenges. Think of it. Your existing supply chains have very little in common with electric vehicle supply chains, right? 80% of the bill of materials is brand new. Your designs are completely different. Your sales strategy is completely different. And more often than not, as most people are discovering, you need complete new distribution, right? Because it's just a different business model in many cases. A pure play EV player like Ather actually has far more advantages. I think legacy players are very smart, and I think they're approaching it correctly at the right pace. But I think this is opening up a massive window of opportunity for new players like ourselves to build our respective identities and to create market share for ourselves. So I think it's advantage new players with a lot more focus, an exclusive EV focus, have fewer things to worry about. There's a headache of where petrol prices are. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen with my legacy supply chain, all of whom have supplied for me the last several decades. I just have to worry about the growth of the EV supply chains and the EV customer base. So it's a lot more focus now. So though we start with lesser resources and lesser brand recognition at the start, I think there are some serious advantages of being EV only.
So the legacy players like Bajaj Auto can continue thinking that they're having oats for breakfast, Ola, Ather talk?
No, I think it'll be fun competing for everybody.
Okay. And, since we're talking to you, Tarun, today on ET Now, and we haven't had you for a while, despite many of our requests, there has been more funding. We continue to hear that how Ather is going to run independently from HeroMoto Corp. HeroMoto Corp, we've at least seen the photographs of what the bikes could look like. The launch is going to be, very, very soon. How is this going to work?
So both of us share a special relationship, but very distinct identities. The DNA of Ather and HeroMoto Corp are quite distinct. I would say HeroMoto Corp understands its market, its customers incredibly well, right? They build the strengths in the motorbike segment. They understand mass marketplace incredibly well. They understand the interiors of India like possibly no other company ever before. Ather is just building a complete different profile, right? We're able to attract urban customers better, though in smaller volumes, obviously. And we've got a sharper focus on today's scooters and more premium vehicles. So we're starting from two different ends of the spectrum, right? There will be potentially overlap over our lives, right? But that does not mean your competitors first. And especially the way the EV industry is going to be growing up, whether it's charging infrastructure or whether it's growing supply chains, two OEMs collaborating with each other have a lot more value to create as opposed to always thinking of each other's competition. So that's my answer. Yeah, great relationship, and both of us are building out two different parts of the market, and I think there are opportunities for us to grow the basic infrastructure for electrification together over the coming years.
Tarun, be honest. In the last couple of months, since the fires, since the various safety issues that have become paramount as well and brought to limelight, has it dented sentiment from the buyer's perspective, whether it's just in the number of leads or test drives or even in sales?
So for us, no. Since the first fires broke out in March, our demand shot up by almost 40%, with roughly the same number of stores, right? And now we have 6-7 months waiting time in many stores right now. So our demand has been uninterrupted. In fact, has grown considerably, largely because I think customers are able to see that quality matters. It's not just specs. It's not just announcements. But the other factor also, okay, but for the industry, yes, there clearly has been an impact. I think demand has come down by 30-40%. My view is that incidents like the recent fire cases, clean up the market a little bit. The EV market right now is a little bit of a wild west story, right? Everybody believes it's like that. It's like that story. Everybody can be a chef. Everybody can be a cook. So anybody can build an EV. And so you see a lot of players coming in. You see a lot of rapid launches, players with less than 1-2 years of R&D, announcing products, trying to put something on the road, trying to get funding. It's bound to happen. And incidents like these tend to clear the market. They tend to educate customers. Like before these fires, we had a lot of cases where customers were blindly looking at, let's say, range of the vehicle, an announced number, or a random top speed. What's kind of happened is conversations have matured from there to more around, okay, how good is your engineering, right? How reliable is it? How much have you tested it for? Have you had any incidents? And if yes, then how you fixed it? Because ultimately, the Indian consumer is not just trying to buy a cheap vehicle. For them, this is an extremely passionate purchase. So they want to know that what they're buying is going to last. It's going to be reliable. I think reliabilities once again come back to the fore. So yes, the industry's paid a little bit of price, but I also think these are just cleanup incidents that are required once every couple of years.
Okay, that's Ather Energy for you, ladies and gentlemen, back with a new slew of products. Some are being repackaged. There's a new bike as well, and you're hearing it from the top boss there itself. Thanks so much, Tarun, for giving us the time.
Thanks, Nayantara.